Hello and welcome. Cheers to each and every one of you playing this episode. Don't forget to stay in the know, to look out for our social media posts on Facebook and Instagram. The links are in the episode notes.
What's up, you guys? I'm so happy that you have tuned in. I decided to go ahead and do another season because I feel like we're transitioning from getting ready to being ready. So I know you heard the intro. You're probably like, what is this girl going through? But baby, we ready. You know how they get ready to quarterback? They be getting ready to pass the ball. This is what I want y'all to do because this title of this episode is called Game Plan Mode. Woo! Let's go! So I'm super excited and doped up, if you can't already hear it in my voice, about what we're going to be talking about today. Of course, I don't plan to keep you guys that long. However, I do want to get the message across the board. First of all, I want to say welcome to season 2. We have made it to season 2 of this year of the podcast. Quarter 3 of the year is already almost over, so I feel like this is a good time to start a new season because last season we spent time getting ready and preparing for what God had for us in January and February. Now we are in March, and we're going to be starting off March with a different mindset. We're not going to just be sitting around talking about what we're going to do. We're going to actually do it. So I am super excited to be along this journey with you guys and help you guys, and also tell you what I'm doing to take another step toward the things that God has called me to. So I was talking and having a conversation with a homegirl a couple days ago, and we were talking about, she was like, basically you have to have a game plan. Like, you have to figure out what it is that you want to do, and then write the steps down and figure out, okay, I know what I want to do, but what do I need to do to get there? And so that's what this episode is basically going to help you guys do. It's going to help you get together the things that we talked about last month, so, or in January and February, so that we can go into the next 2 to 3 months with a game plan mode. So I highly encourage you guys to make a list. I told you guys in the last couple episodes about making it plain. That's written. That's word. That's scripture. That's biblical. Make it plain. Write it down. Pray about it. Ask God to remove the things that are not of His plan for your life. Because one thing that I don't want to see us do in this year is waste time on things that God did not call us to. So I definitely think that it's very important to make sure that the things that you're doing are lined up with what God would have you do, because I would hate to see somebody in a surviving, successful business is something that God did not call you to. Because even though it will be profitable and it will bring success and power and money, fame, whatever, if God did not bring you to it, eventually you're going to have to let it go. So I don't want to see that happen to anybody, because we waste time on things that may actually work, but God didn't call us there. So eventually God is going to tell you to let it go. And if you don't believe me, you can just look at a lot of people. They talk about how there's a few people that talk about how they have successful businesses and God told them to shut it down. The first person that comes to mind is Tatum. Ayo Mike, I think she's the owner of the Best and Bossed Up podcast. She talked about how she had a successful business and it was thriving, and God told her to shut it down. The second person that comes to mind is Courtney Sanders. She talked about how she had her Think and Grow Chick kind of brand off of the Think and Get Rich uh book, and that was successful. It got her to where she is, but she had to rebrand and redo some things. God pulled her from that and started her to do her own thing. So the list goes on, with people who were very successful in the things that God has called us to do, or in areas where God has called us to. But if it's not exactly what God wants you to do, He'll take it from you. I remember going to Marquita, what is her last name? I have to get back to you guys, but it's a lady I went to a seminar for. And I want to say her name is Marquita Brooks, Marquita Wooks. I don't know. But she used to be a hairstylist, but now she's like a motivational speaker. She's very awesome. I had bought one of her books. We went to one of her seminars in North Carolina. And I started following her and stuff like that. But she also was in a successful business, and God pulled her away from that and said, no, you need to be speaking to people. So what we don't want to do is have a story like that. But even if we do, I feel like I definitely have that story. Um, so don't think that if that is your story that it's a bad thing, because it's definitely not. Don't mind me, I'm sipping on my Dunkin' coffee. That's probably why I'm so amped up. But I just wanted to say welcome to season 2 of your life. Like, I really want to help people get their stuff together. Like, I feel like I am just a person who has been idle and making my plans come to pass. And I've done all the things that I've told you guys to do, which is writing it down, making it plain, scratching it off, praying over it, doing all those things. But now we're in a go for it season. This season of the podcast and of your life is going to be called Go For It, because we're going to be going for the things that God has for us. We come in to snatch, grab, kill, and destroy the things that are not for us, but we're going to snatch and grab the things that God has for us. And in doing that, it sounds good, right? But it's actually really hard because the devil knows what the plan is. And he wants to deter us and distract us and pull us away from that plan. So we have to be bigger than him and say, listen, this is not going to work. I'm going to stay focused. And I feel like for the last 2 months, I've been reeled in by the attacks of the enemy. And I have not set out and been successful at the things that I've been trying to do. And that's why I said, you know what? I can't be the only one struggling. Like, you guys, anytime I go through something, I literally say, I can't be the only one going through this. Because I remember, like, the Bible tells us that we have to live and share our testimony. Even if it's embarrassing, even if we feel like it's not something that somebody else want to hear. I know that there's a million, billion, trillion people in the world, and I can't be the only one going through a phase where I feel idle, a phase where I am in a place where I feel like I'm comparing myself to social media or someone that I admire. It goes from being inspirational and admiring to idolizing. And I can't be the only one going through that. And so I decided, and I told myself that I'm going to decide to go for it and change my mindset. That I can live the life that God has for me and the life that I feel like I deserve, and we can never ask, think, pray, or imagine for the things that God has for us, but we know that once we do all things through God, that everything that comes along with Him is nothing but positive. So we can say that once we start aligning our plans up with God's and making sure that it fits, that from there is success. And I feel like that is so important because you don't want to waste time in something that God never called you to. Yeah, you may be good at it, but did God call that to you? Did God call it to you to do that, to work on it, to start a business? And I feel like a lot of people spend time on things that God didn't even call us to. And it does get frustrating, because sometimes it takes you a while to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't even understand this, da da da. But then eventually, once you get the hang of it and you realize, okay, once I put God in the middle, like, once you have the plan that God has for you, God will lead you. God will give you the people. God will give you the resources. He will give you everything that you need to thrive in that business. Because if He brought you to it, He'll see you through it. And that's what this episode is going to be today, a reminder to go for it. Because this season of our life, we don't have time to play. I've been telling you guys this for the last couple of seasons or episodes. We don't have time to play. 2022 is going to be a great year, but you have to put in the work. You have to definitely continue to strive for the success that you want. And I'm not just talking about in life or, financial. I'm talking about whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like, if you're trying to make more time for yourself or more time for your kids or more time for friends or more time for fun, get away from your work sometime and still be able to manage your bills and things like that. Write those things down. Pray over it. Ask God, okay, Lord, okay, I've been at this job for such and such years, but I need something new. Or, I make this amount, but I need a little bit more, God. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, or how am I not stewarding over the things that you've given me? I think that we have to start putting God in the forefront. I don't know what I was about to say. We have to start putting God in the front. Let me just say that because I don't know where my mind is going. The front of our problem so that we're not stressed. We're not worrying about something that God has already figured out. And God calls us not to be anxious and worried about anything. So we have to remember that the things that we're stressing about and worrying about, God has already figured it out. And I think that in the moments that we are stressed and frustrated, we have to pull back and tell ourselves that, okay, this is causing too much time out of my day. It's still in my peace. It's still in my joy. It's still in my sleep. It's still in my appetite. It's still in my mood. It's still in my time. So, God, what do I need to do? And in that moment, God's going to tell you to give it to Him. Pray about it. And definitely just say a prayer about it. And actually give it to God. I think that's something that's so important. Don't just sit around and ponder on it and keep saying, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But actually give it to God. And once you do that, you're God will start revealing to you what you need to do. And sometimes what I do now is like if I pray about something and I can hear God or see what God is doing a little bit, I say, God, Lord, please, I see the change, I see what you're showing me, but I'm not really understanding or I don't see it clearly. Can you please make the vision clear? Can you take the blurry lines outside of the vision and make my path straight, make it clear, and move any distractions that may be hindering me from to understanding and making your plan clear. um I wanted to dive in today and just talk about, like I said earlier, with the just comparison, but I said no, I'm going to leave that for another episode because I wanted to give you guys up because this is basically the intro to season 1. The outro to season 1, the intro to season 2. So I wanted to give you guys up and let you know what we're going to be talking about in season 2. That's why I changed up the intro, because we are ready. We are ready. I'm getting ready to throw the ball and y'all finna catch it. Like, God is really finna show up in our lives in a major way. So I'm super excited about that. So I just want to come on and get you guys hyped because this next episode we're going in. We're not waiting. We ain't playing. We're not wasting no more time. Quarter 3 is almost over, or basically will be over by the time you hear this. And we have work to do, you guys. Whatever you plan on doing this year, mark it completed, because we are going to be completing the task at hand. So I'll see you guys on the next episode. As always, you are gorgeous because you're grateful. Bye.
Thank you for listening. I hope you stay tuned for more episodes. Remember, being grateful makes you gorgeous.